Hello everybody, welcome back to the Quackus007 channel on YouTube. Today we will be going over FNAF 4's max modes and how the AI works. So you can also gain all the stars in FNAF 4, or just learn something new if you have already beaten FNAF 4's max modes. So first, let's talk about 420 and the strat I used on the mode. The strat is very simple once learned, but will be hard to get used to. To start, let's talk about AI caps. In games like FNAF 2, the AI caps look something like this for its 1020 mode. I can't really tell you the reason Scott put AI caps in this mode. It could be to make it harder, since as Braden proved, true 1020 is actually easier. However, for FNAF 4, there are no AI caps besides Freddy. Since he doesn't go all the way up to 20 AI, he actually stays at 6 AI. However, before I talk about him, let's talk about Bonnie and Chica and how they work. Their pathing looks like this. Bonnie and Chica also have a 5-second movement opportunity timer. Since they are at 20 AI, they will always move every 5 seconds. They have a 50% chance to move toward your room and a 50% chance to move back. They start in the middle top area of the map. Then after 5 seconds, they move out of that spot to the respective side. Bonnie on the left and Chica on the right side of the map. After 5 seconds, they can move toward your room or they can go back a square. Bonnie can go to the starting square and Chica can't. However, she goes to the kitchen where you will hear pots and pans clanking, telling you she is in the kitchen. Now, Chica gets a silent buff in the audio portion, where normally you go up to the door and listen for breathing. However, Chica's audio file, and only hers, goes silent at the end of the file for 1 second, which could mean you go up to the door and flash the hall since you didn't hear breathing, but Chica was there, just because her audio file reached the end where there is no breathing. With Chica, I would recommend being more careful, since she ended my runs a lot. Bonnie, however, you don't have to worry, since, from what I know, his audio file is perfectly normal, and if he is at your door, you should hear breathing. If you turn on the house map G, that looks like this. Once Bonnie or Chica are in this square, when you flash the hall, you will see them peek back, telling you that you have cleared them. Also, if they are on the square, that means you should listen for breathing, since they are at your door, ready to attack. Now, let's talk about Foxy. He starts outside your room, unless you have the Insta-Foxy challenge on, but we will talk about that later in the last portion of the video. Foxy has a 90% chance to move to either side of the hall, and you will hear a sprinting sound that pans to either side of the hallway. That sounds like this if he moves to the left, this if he moves to the right. Once he moves to either side, he then has a 10% chance to move into the hallway he is at, and that will sound like this if he's on the right, and like this if he's on the left. Notice how this audio file doesn't pan to either side, telling you that he did in fact move into your hallway. Once you hear him sprint into the hallway, you can go to that side and flash him, sending him back to the middle, resetting him to do the sprinting stuff again. On the other hand, if he runs into the left hall and you go to the right door, he will go to the closet, where he will pick a stage between 3 to 7 to start in. 3 being not that threatening, or 7 where you flash him and he barks at you, aka jump scaring you, not ending your run though. Now, let's talk about Freddy. He's a little bit more complicated with the AI. He's very easy to deal with though. He is always on your bed, constantly building frettles that appear on your bed. He has a progress bar of 0 to 80 that is easily segmented into portions of 10, 20, 30, 60, and 80. This progress bar fills up with his AI level per 4 seconds. Now let's talk about the 10, 20, 30, 60, and 80 stages. At 0 progression, obviously there is no frettles. Then at 10, there will be 1 frettle. Then at 20, where there will be 2 frettles. Then 30, where there will be 3 frettles on the bed. The frettles will also get louder the more that are on your bed. So if there's 1 frettle on the bed, they're going to be quiet. Then 2, they're going to get slightly louder. Then 3, where they're going to be at their peak. Once he reaches 60 progress, he will jump scare you the next time you turn to the bed and flash him. Or if he is at 80, he will jump scare you no matter where you are in the room. To get rid of him, you flash your light on the bed and it will decrease his progress bar. You can tell when this progress bar goes down, since the frettles will disappear the longer you hold your flashlight on the bed. First, in order to understand the strat, you need to know about kill timers. Bonnie and Chica will kill you once they have been at your door for 12 seconds and you haven't cleared them from the hall. So once they get to your door, the first time it will add 5 seconds. Then the second time, another 5 seconds, going up to 10. Then the final time will bring it up to 15 seconds. Then they will be ready to kill you once you turn to the bed. You will need a timer for this strat. If you don't have one, I will have one linked in the description for you. And I'm sorry if you don't like timer strats. Now we can talk about the 10-20 strat. I am pretty sure it was found by Braden and a few other FNAF hive minds, but you can fact check me on that. To start off, you turn to the bed and hold your flashlight until a 8-second interval. Then you turn around from your bed, look at the left door, and at the 10-second mark, go to the left door and flash your light since it is guaranteed that Bonnie won't be there. But before the 15-second mark, since if you flash him at 15-second mark, he will have a high chance of jump scaring you, since that is when his next movement opportunity is. Once you flash the hall, go back to the bed and flash frettles to the next 8-second interval. Then at the 20-second mark, go to the right door and flash it since Chica won't be there also. So pretty much, you just need to look at the seconds on the timer and only worry about the 8 seconds and 0-second marks on your timer. Then you just repeat the strat the whole night. That seems pretty simple, right? Well, it would be if you didn't have to worry about Foxy. But Foxy is in your hallway, and you don't want him to enter your closet. Since if he enters the closet, then that is an instant restart in the night, pretty much. So this is why I say wait until the 10-second mark to go to the door, since I found that is usually when Foxy makes up his mind on which hallway he's going to run into. So, if you hear him go into the hallway, stop wherever you are in the cycle and go flash him. There is some RNG in this mode with the strat, and that is if Foxy runs into the same hallway 3 times in a row. Let's scale this up in 3 cases. Case 1 being you hear him go into the hallway 1 time, and then you stop wherever you are in their cycle and go flash that hallway on the next 10-second interval. Case 2 is if he picks the same door twice, 2 times in a row in your cycle. You clear your bed. For example, let's say goes into the left hallway twice in a row. You flash your bed till the next 10-second interval. Go clear him the 1 time. You go flash your bed until the next 8-second interval. Then you go clear him from the left hall again. You go flash your bed on the next 8-second interval, and then he's gone. However, case 3 is the bad one, because if you remember, their kill timers are on 12 seconds, which means that if you go up to the same hallway 3 times, that also means the person on the other side of the hallway has gone up to that hallway 3 times in a row, adding up their kill timer to 15 seconds, which means if you look at your bed, you are going to die if you clear Foxy, like normal. So, let's say you finish the 2 clears, like we just talked about. You go flash your bed until the next 8-second interval. You turn around and realize he went into the next same hallway then on that cycle. Now, you don't worry. Don't start freaking out and go check the other door. Do not do that. Go check the same door he was at. Now, you might be asking yourself, why are we doing that? Doesn't that mean that when we go clear Freddy until the next 8-second interval, we're going to die? You would be right about that. However, remember, that's if you look at the bed. So instead, you clear Foxy, then you don't look at the bed. You then sit there idle in the center part of your room, not looking at anything, and then on the next 10-second interval, you run to the right hallway, or the opposite hallway he ran to, or that not Foxy ran to, but that you haven't cleared. So let's say Foxy went up to your left hall 3 times in a row. You go back to the bed area, and you sit there until the next 10-second interval, then run up to the right door and clear Chica. And then you can go clear Freddy until the next 8-second interval, getting back on cycle. So, to put it simply, the cycle really looks like bed, left hall, bed, right hall, bed, left hall, bed, right hall. You just keep repeating bed, left hall, bed, right hall, bed, left hall. Unless, of course, Foxy goes into a hallway. If he goes into a hallway, you disregard where you are in the cycle and go clear him. So really, you need to be paying attention for those Fox Stimper Stampers. So with what I just described in the last 6 minutes, it should get you to 4 a.m. pretty easily, which will be the 4-minute marker on your timer. Once it is 4 a.m., you should know from night 7, because you're trying to clear night 8 here, which is 4:20. So from night 7, you would know that at 4 a.m., everyone gets replaced with Nightmare. And Nightmare uses all the mechanics from all the other characters into one. But not all at the same time, of course. He has his same mechanics as Fredbear from Night 5, if you remember him, which is the final boss of the first 5 nights, kind of. But with shorter kill timer. Nightmare has a very short kill timer, and you need to be on point. Well, not really on point, but you get the point. So, you will hear Stimper Stampers. Once he stops moving, you run to the side that you stopped hearing the Stimper Stampers from and go shut the door. That is the easiest way to describe his walking from left hall to right hall. Of course, don't flash the hallway because you will get railed pretty quickly. So, the next scenario is where a lot of the RNG is. So, you should know that he can only do 4 laughs in a night when he's in a night. So, those laughs will be 2 real laughs and 2 fake laughs. Now that we got that out of the way, we can talk about this part. His laugh timers are split into 2. He has the real laugh and fake laugh, like I just said. But he has a 1 in 10 chance to do a fake laugh every 10 seconds. And his real laugh has a 1/2 chance to go up every second till they hit a timer of 20 seconds. Which means his real laugh timer is split to his closet laugh timer and bed laugh timer. Since it can't be 1, because if he does a real laugh, then you have to make a he could be on the bed and closet at the same time. You feel me? Those two timers go up separately. If he laughs at any second range of 1 to 9 seconds, it is a real laugh, guaranteed. Since his fake laugh, he has a 1 in 10 chance to do a fake laugh every 10 seconds. However, if he laughs on a 10-second interval, so 10, 20, 30, 40, 60, etc., it is a 99% chance it's fake. It isn't a 100% chance, since one of his real laugh timers could have reached a 20 seconds on the 10-second interval. But this is either very unlucky. I don't think that's ever happened to me before. Now, we have to talk about his bed positions, now that you know about his laugh timer and that jibber jabber, blah, blah, blah stuff. You know what I mean? You will have to stare at the timer if he laughs and he's on the bed. You have to lock in on that timer. I mean, like, fucking laser beam on that timer. You have to know when he laughs, and then you have to know when he gets cleared from the bed, because during that time that he's on the bed, the fake laugh timer stops, which means it could not be on a 10-second interval anymore, which means it will mess up everything that you've known. You have to know how long he was on that bed for. And if you don't know how long he was on the bed for, then it's going to be guesswork for the rest of the night. Unless, of course, that was his second real laugh of the night. So if he laughed once and he went to the closet, and then he laughed twice and he went onto the bed, you don't worry about it, because that's his only two laughs that he can do for real. Then he still has his two fake laughs, unless you've already gotten rid of one. So pretty much, I hope you can use most of this part, because this should pretty much easily get you through 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. portion, which is the last 2 minutes of the night. And that should have officially made you clear 420 mode. Play the casual bongos. Exotic butters. Let's go. 2020 mode completed in FNAF 4. W. So besides 420 and Mad Freddy and Foxy blind mode, the next, like, the stupid easy mode is blind mode all nightmare. This is because he's still stuck to his 4 laughs he can do, his 2 real and 2 fake. The only thing that will mess you up during this mode is the fact that you cannot see jack. You can't see jack shit in your room, which means you will have to get good in this mode at knowing where you are in your room. You will need this for the next mode. So I would really use this mode as practice to learn how to guide around your room without getting lost. Try to get good at keeping your cursor in the equator of your screen, because that's where all the hitboxes are for the closet and your doors are, is in like the middle equator of your screen. The only time you aren't at that equator of your screen is if you're flicking down to the bottom middle of your screen to run back from one of your doors or look back at your bed and flash your bed. Now let's talk about nightmares moving from left to right stuff. Nightmare will have a 50% chance to walk to a corner, left or right corner of the hallways, and he will make an audio cue. Then when he is in one of the corners, he then gets a 50% chance to move into the hall, which will always be silent. You will not hear the audio cue. He's not like Foxy. So pretty much once you hear his footsteps stop on a side, you run to that door and shut it. You don't think, you go and shut it. For most of the night, you are going to be listening to his footsteps going from a door to door, and once they stop, you go and shut the door that you last heard him walking toward. Besides this, the only thing I can say is get good at knowing where you are in your room and then listen to Nightmare's footsteps and his laughs and paying attention to that timer because you will need that for the next mode for the last 2 minutes. Of course, knowing about and remembering the real laugh and fake laughs, and real laughs will occur 100% of the time on a 1 to 9 second interval, and then fake laughs will only occur on 10-second intervals unless you get very unlucky. Besides this, the only thing that can throw the real and fake laugh timers off is if he goes onto the bed, which, as previously stated, his fake laugh timer will be paused until you clear him. However, you don't have to worry if he is in the closet, since nothing changes. Just another thing in the game's coding that buffs an animatronic, like Chica. Once you survive 6 minutes of Nightmare, and while blind, you have officially beaten this mode. This one isn't that bad, since if you get his 2 real and or fake laughs gone early, it is just listening to him bounce from door to door. And going up to that door and closing it with it right off the rip. So yeah, if you hear 4 laughs in a night, you just listen to Nightmare all night, just making footsteps, walking from the left side to the right side and shutting it. Pretty much once you clear those first 4 laughs and you get rid of the 4 laughs for the night, it is free. You cannot throw that away unless you majorly mess up. I mean, like, majorly fuck up. But besides that, that's a GG for this mode. And Nightmare, because Nightmare is pretty free low on this mode. Not the next mode, though. We'll go over that next. So before I go into this mode, um, I will want to say and put a reminder here that if you are enjoying this video from this point, I would recommend subscribing to the channel, since I am going to do this more often, where I do a deep dive onto the max modes and how to beat them and the strat I use to beat them as easy as possible, and whatnot. Maybe like the video, comment like potatoes or something to let me know you made it this far. But besides that, let's get to the final mode that will give you the last blue star that you want. Because the mode that we just talked about, Nightmare Blind, All Nightmare Blind mode, give you your blue star and 2 red. Now it's time to get your last 3 stars, your blue and the last 2 red. This is where you will have to use all your skills that you've gathered from the game of playing it, and then smash them together like mashed potatoes and sweat as hard as possible. You will not beat this mode if you are not comfortable with being blind and knowing where you are in the room. If you aren't comfortable, do not, and I repeat, do not. I'm sorry about the ASMR, but I don't want to yell in your ears. Do not go back to blind mode all night. Stay on this mode. Since you will have to learn a new cycle for this night than 420. 420 mode was easy. This mode is a completely different fucking cycle, okay? It will not only get you used to the cycle, but it will get you used to being blind. So, now that we got that disclaimer out, let's start off in the basics. Whoa. Not in the basics. What the fuck am I talking about, guys? I don't know. I'm on a little bit of crack. I'm doing a script for the first time. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. Bear with me. So, in the basics part of the video, I talked about Foxy in the hallway and you keeping him out until 4 a.m. However, as the challenge mode implies, Foxy won't be in the hallways. He will start in your closet because that's Insta Foxy for you. He immediately starts in his hallway and he already wants to murder your and eat your face. Um, he will still pick his number between 3 and 7 at the start of the night, or start when he gets in the closet, which is at the start of the night. But that doesn't really matter, since even though he is at 20 AI, he will always be on the verge of killing you the entire night. So let's talk about Freddy. Before and for 20, he was at 6 AI, and he still is. However, his progression bar gets filled up quicker than his every 4 seconds, like before. I'm gonna be honest, I really don't know how Mad Freddy works. I just know he's obviously more aggressive than he was in 420. So the changes to Freddy and Foxy make this night 5 times harder than 420. I would actually say like 3 times harder. I upscale it a little bit. It's maybe like 3 to 2 times harder. It's really the hardest part is blind. Being blind, really. I guarantee you, you can do right now at this stage of in this video, you can probably do this mode like Mad Freddy Insta Foxy on Nightmare Night and beat it without blind mode. It's really the blind mode that makes it difficult because you have to get used to knowing where you are in the room and watching the timer. Since if you don't have a timer, you cannot see the clock. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention that. Yeah, you can't see the clock in the top right of the screen, so you don't know what time it is. That's also another reason you need a timer for this night. So now that we got all that out of the way, and my jibber jabbering that part, let's talk strategy. But in this mode, it's more of a cycle, since it's not a strategy. A strategy is kind of a like a guide on like if this happens and you do this. No matter what, you stick to this the whole night. Even if it feels weird, you stick to this until 4 a.m. When you first spawn in, you obviously start your timer. You go to the left hall. I know if you're not go to the closet like everyone says to do for some reason. You go to the left hallway and flash the hallway. This is because it will actually load the map in that side of the map, and it will make it like loading it in quicker later. It will make it quicker to load in later in life. Jesus, making it slightly easier. Then after you do that, you go to the closet and close it for 10 seconds. Since Freddy won't be ready to kill you. And this will give you the most amount of time, most amount of like leeway with Foxy for the rest of the night. So then he won't be at your throat the whole night, really. And then you can do like some like little mess ups in the night with like getting to Foxy as quick as possible. But I would still recommend obviously getting to him as quick as possible. So once you finish with Foxy, you will head to the bed and flash until all the frettles are gone. The best way of knowing when the frettles are gone when you're blind is just listen to for when like the sound is no longer there. They'll make like a weird like mechanical sound. Like if you haven't gotten used to it yet, I would recommend getting like go to like YouTube, search. You know what? And what the fuck am I talking about? I'll just play it right here. See, now you like you heard the sound. Once you hear that sound stop, that's how you know the freckles are gone. I don't know why I was about to say go search up a fucking audio cue. No, this is a fucking guide, dude. This guide is to help you beat this mode. I should be adding them in the cues, sound cues. Even though it's gonna add like another like 5 minutes of editing for me. But it's whatever. It's for you guys. Now we can actually start the cycle. And put it simply, it looks like left door, right door, bed, closet, bed. Repeat. Keep that in. Um the reason we check bed twice in the cycle is because of the Mad Freddy challenge. Since he builds up quicker. And if you don't check him twice, it will kill. He will kill you. Also, instead of waiting for 5 seconds to listen for breathing, like you may have gotten slightly used to in other nights, you have to listen for 3 seconds or less. You have to get really good at popping out that quick listening and getting out. The worst thing that can happen during this night is if you have to close the door on Bonnie and Chica in like one cycle. So you go left door, you shut the door on Bonnie because you heard him. Then you go to the right door and have to shut the door on Chica because you heard her too. Which then means you have to be pretty frame perfect to get to Freddy in order not to get jump scared. Now, this is also a problem with writing a script. I realize I did not talk about Foxy besides the first 10 seconds. So when you go to the closet in the cycle, you're going to close the door for 7 seconds instead of 10. Because the 10 was at the start. Every other time, when you're later in the night, and like just after the first 10 seconds, you're closing it on him for 7. So right when you close it on for 2 seconds, open door, run back to the bed, clear Freddy, then do the left, right, bed, closet, bed cycle. So pretty much, this is all I can give you for the 12 to 4 a.m. portion of the night. I know it doesn't seem like a lot. You may have come to the video because you got stuck on the night just like I did, and you try to find a YouTuber that has anything easier. But unfortunately, the rest of it comes down to getting used to being blind, getting good at the cycle. I know it might feel like you're really good at the cycle, but the main problem could be the fact that you're not used to being blind really yet. And it will feel bad at the start of trying to beat this mode. I know because it took me 3 days. Technically, I could have done it in 2 days, but that's a different story for a different day. Most of the time, you will not get past 2 a.m. Getting past 2 a.m. should not be in your vision for the first day. First day of trying to beat this mode, if you don't beat it on the first day, if you beat it on the first day, congrats, dude. Good for you. I just didn't dump enough hours in the first day. I think I dumped like 2 hours in the first day. So the main part, getting under your belt, is getting the cycle. But once you get all that under your belt, this should go down really easily, honestly. But now we get to the final portion of the video where we talk about the 4 to 6 a.m. part, which is Nightmare again. Oh, who didn't see that fucking coming? It's been in the last 3 sections. Oh, that's besides the point. It's like there's a common final boss in this game. Whatever. Um, so you do the same thing you did on 420 with him. He literally does not fucking change. Really, he just doesn't change from 420. He's literally the same thing as in 420. You have to get good at knowing getting good at diagnosing his fake laugh versus real laughs. And instead of having 6 minutes with him like you did in the last section of the video, you only have 2 minutes, which means you have the RNG with his fake laugh and real laugh stuff. Obviously, to quickly go over this again, I feel like I'm gonna pound this in. I'm gonna fucking keep throwing this at like I do with paint at a fucking brick wall or like stick with a. I don't know the fucking. I don't remember the term, but I keep throwing this shit at a brick wall until it sticks. Okay? If he laughs on a 1 to 9 second interval, then it is real, and you should check your bed or closet. However, if he laughs on a 10-second interval, then it is fake. 99.99% of the time, unless you get very unlucky. This could obviously change his fake laugh timer if he does a real laugh and goes to the bed. Since his fake laugh timer would have been paused, he has a 10% 1 in 10 chance to do a fake laugh. So a 10% chance to do a fake laugh every 10 seconds. And his real laugh has a 1/2 chance, 50% chance to go up every second till they hit a timer of 20 seconds. Obviously, his real laugh timers is split to his closet laugh timer and his bed laugh timer that goes up separately. So this means there could be a chance that he does a real laugh when you expect a fake laugh. So there is your bit of RNG to this. Once you can survive your 2 minutes with Nightmare on This Night, congratulations, motherfucker. You have just completed Mad Freddy Insta-Voxy blind mode. Now you can submit that shit to the AML or MML or whatever max mode list you want, or just for your self glory, and get your points or your street cred or whatever you want from this. So, I want to give big thanks to Braden's video on 420 strat. I will put that in the link in the description, since without it, it would have made my life with 420 a little bit harder. Not a lot bit harder. I wrote a lot harder in the script because I was trying to get the script done as fast as possible. But it would have been just a little harder. Since you would have just done the same strat you did in Mad Freddy and Foxy blind mode, besides the double bed check. You just done one bed check. Also, thank you to the Bones 5 for having his videos about FNAF 4. I will probably also add his channel to the description, because without his videos about him talking about the AI in this mode and how this game works, I don't think I would have even gotten close to beating this mode. His videos, like the one that actually goes over how to beat blind mode All Nightmare and blind mode Mad Freddy Insta Foxy mode, and his Soul Link video that he did with Braden gave me a lot more info about how Nightmare's Laugh work. If you couldn't understand what I was saying because I was jibber jabbering and really fast to get this video done, so I didn't break like 50 minutes to an hour on this video, then I will also link to that video in the description. So, thank you so much if you made it this far into the video. If you enjoy the content I made in this video, with this video, whatever I'm losing my mind, let me know by dropping a like, please, or subscribing, so I know to make more videos like this in the future, but with other FNAF games. And I will see you, hopefully, in the next video. Goodbye.